Hello, Tibor from Boomla. Let's see how to make your own HTML snippet designable with the Boomla Designer. I'm going to start with creating a new element that we are going to turn into a HTML block. So I prefer to go for creating a text element maybe, just so that we have something to start with. I drop it onto the page and then I right click and go for show in IDE. So this is the text element, and I'm going to change its type to SJS4ET, which is required, sorry, 4ET. We don't need the title. So this is required for the Turbo CSS HTML snippet. And I am going to change the body of this to contain some HTML code. Actually, let me just change this, make it a div, and just say hello world for now. Maybe have another element just so that we have more. Maybe hello world, something is cool. All right, whatever. Okay, so I'm coming here and let's see if it displays. I'm actually not 100% sure it does. Okay, because I thought we might need to install a package, but we didn't. Okay, so first of all, let's add T1 start. This is basic for Turbo CSS, and also add classes here. And T1 everywhere. And maybe let's make this font bold and font 32, and this, I don't know, make it blue. Okay, so just so we see that it works and does something. Font blue is actually color blue. Okay, so that would be Turbo CSS. Bold it's not color bold, font bold, and color blue. Sorry for that. Okay, there you go. So Turbo CSS works. So previously, before the the Visual Designer, you would have to add your Turbo CSS code right into the code like this. So this is what we are going to turn into the alternative. So to make those editable, we need to do a couple of things. First, we need to add an O1 designable class. Now it's important that if you have a Turbo block, it must be separated with a standalone semicolon class, because otherwise Turbo would expect this to be a Turbo class, so we just separated it. You also need to tell it which file this designable block is going to design, where the design is essentially to be stored. So we need to add an attribute called data01 designable path, and then here we need to insert the path for the file that will be designed, which is the current file. So we can say source.path. Source is a variable that points to the current file, so its path will be inserted here. Then we need to add a unique class for all of the elements. It has to start with S, so it shall be S for style, S dot, and then anything lowercase if it depends on the application, anything uppercase if it's content dependent. So for example, if this element would have children, like in a gallery, then you would generate a random like a unique ID for every child, so that the styles can be like the classes will be generated for every class, every element uniquely. So for now, we are going to use a lowercase class. It could be anything you can think of. I'm just going for elements like E1 for simplicity, because the designer, there people are going to use the selector tool anyway. If you can go for something more fancy, but I think this does the trick as well. So E3, okay, and that's the important bit. So if you do this and leave some inline styles here, I'm not sure it's called inline styles. Actually, they're called hard-coded styles in Turbo because we are hard-coding it, and the rest is called something else. So, all right, let's see that it works. So first of all, I refresh the page. It still has the same styles. I come here, missing Turbo version identifier and something. Okay, the reason is to make this designable, you also need to go inside this and add a .style file. This is to make sure that those style files won't be accidentally created somewhere along the file system if you create the wrong path. And the only requirement is that this file shall have a T1. It should start with T1, and that's it. So let's refresh this. Select it. It happily selects. You can see all the elements are blue, which means they should be designable. And let's go for, we haven't set a color here, so let's make it orange. Even if we would have set a color, by the way, like here, we could override it in the designer. Okay, and if we close it, it will auto-save. And if we reopen the style file, you can see the styles are going to be saved in here. Now, if you didn't want to have those hard-coded styles here, you could just move them to the designer. So the style file. So let's remove this and move it into s.e2, which is this. Like if we wanted to move the original, we would just do this. And for E3, it's color blue. Let's go for it. E3 color blue. Refresh, there you go. The same styles are there. So in a sense, that's all. Yeah, I leave this video at this. So that's it.